everyone, Jeri Bellini here. Welcome to the little house in Pennsylvania. Today's video is a how-to on this new Christmas tree kit that I put in the shop about a week ago. It is created from recycled sweaters and recycled wool. And this is part of the sweater. So when I wash and felt the sweaters and then I cut them apart, I wind up I cut the seams out, and this is a seam from a sweater. And so I saved them all because I think they're awesome. And I don't know, I came up with the idea to do this little Christmas tree. I thought it would be fun. So we're going to go over this today. If you purchased a kit, what you'll get in the kit is the black wool background, and it's 9 inches wide by 10 inches high, and the piece that I put in the kit is a little bit bigger than that, so you'll have to cut it back. And you get all the little squares for the presents. You get the trunk, tree trunk, you get a star, and you get ornaments to put on your tree. You also get a paper template, and we'll talk about that as we go along. You get the background cloth, and you have several to choose from. This is 100% quilter's cotton, and I think that's about it. You don't get the thread, and you don't get the needles. And you can use this as a wall hanging. You could put a little sleeve on the back, or you could just lay it on top of something on a table, whatever. But I think it's adorable, and so I'm going to show you how to create that. Before we get started and I show you how to create this, I did want to mention that I did put up a little mini workshop on my website. Actually, I figured out how to do a shopping cart, and it's to make this Christmas tree. And you might be wondering, well, why would I need to do that? You know, she's going to show me how to do that right now. I just thought it would be a fun way to spend an afternoon with like-minded people, and I'll go into more particulars about the project, and if you have, of course, any questions or anything, we can go over that. And then the other kits that I've created in the shop, I know a lot of you have purchased those. You can come to the class with your questions. I did schedule the class for from 1 to 3 for 2 hours, but I'm happy to go over if you guys have questions. And I just thought it would be a fun way to spend a Sunday afternoon. So it is scheduled for December 15th. That's a Sunday from 1 to 3. I actually made a mistake in my vlog and said it was Saturday the 14th. So it's Sunday the 15th from 1 to 3, and that's Eastern Standard Time on Zoom. And there'll be a recording for that as well, so you can keep the recording and watch it over and over. If you can't make the class and you just want to have the recording, that's an option too. I put a $20 fee on the Zoom class, and I'm hoping to do more mini workshops going forward into 2025. Please consider joining me. You will be supporting me by taking the class, and I always appreciate you, and I'm so grateful for everyone. All right, I'm going to leave the link in the description below. All right, let's move on. So here is what you get in the kit, okay? All these sweater seams. And what I did to make it a little easier for you is I cut the first piece for you to put it down. So here's your paper template that you're going to follow. So let's just move this wool out of the way for a minute. Just got home from doing some shopping, so you might hear a little background noise. Anyway, let me pick up where I left off. So this is the very first piece, and I already cut it for you. You can trim it back to fit the template if you want, but you get the idea. And then you have all these other pieces. So I would suggest, you just kind of, lay them out. You can see some of them are bigger than others. And there should be more than enough to create this tree if you keep to the paper template size. So some of the pieces are a little long, and you'll see some of them are like the same size, okay? So put the shorter ones up to the top. And then I cut you out a top, okay, for that. And then there's also a star, okay, that goes at the very top, but that's last. All right, so you're going to just start by fooling around and trying to lay out some of this stuff. And every kit is slightly different because the seams, you know, you only have so much on a sweater seam, and I just kind of made them all so that they would be randomish colors. So you see these pieces aren't exactly what's here, but you see how it looks so close, right? I know you get the drift. So don't cut anything until you lay everything down. So that's what I want you to do. Just start laying things down and get a good idea. And, you know, fool around with it. Sometimes it looks nicer when you fold it over or whatever. I like all the little idiosyncrasies on the seams, so I like those up. And just kind of start laying them down on your paper template. So you're just going to kind of lay it out and get a general gist color-wise as well. And then, boy, there is a lot extra in this kit. And I think you'll find that to be true when you make yours. And then you're going to put this piece up at the top. And remember, your paper template is under there. Okay, so now, once you've got your layout all set, you're going to move all your pieces off to the side, just like that. You can take a picture of them. So now you're going to get your piece of wool, and I'm just using a piece of scrap because I'm running out of this beautiful black wool, which I talked to you about that in another video. I actually bought some new wool because black, you can't do without black. So this piece, I love this piece. This piece is in every single kit, trimmed, and it's this color. So you're going to lay it down. Like, you have to figure out where you need to start your tree. So that's why this paper template comes in handy, right? You're going to follow this. And here is your tree trunk. Now, the tree trunk is meant to show about 1 inch. So about 1/2 inch will go underneath this, like that. So you can put a little dot of glue there if you want, or you can just put a pin there. And you can stitch this down once you've decided by doing this. Okay, now don't forget your little star up at the top. And then you want to leave a little space. I hope we're still in frame. Yes. You want to leave a little space up here. You're either going to fold this over, or you're going to use the cotton quilting cloth that I put in the kit. If you don't have a kit and you're doing this at home, you can finish this edge off however you want. But what I did is I put the cotton quilting thread underneath, and I folded it over and just put it down. I showed you how to do the edging in my other kit, the wool embroidered sampler kit. I showed you how to fold that over in there. So it's exactly the same thing. I'll put a link to that up in the description box. All right. So now you've got your placement. You've left enough room up at the top, 1 inch up at the top, and you're just going to set that aside. And now you know where to start your tree. And you don't forget you have your presents down here. So you want to make sure you have enough room for your presents. And I didn't put them perfectly straight because I don't put anything perfectly straight. And what I gave you for your presents, and I see I'm missing one of these, I gave you 2 of these for the inside of your presents. And then I gave you an extra one to just go there. And I tried to give you like a lighter color to go against the black for there, and then 2 darker ones to go against the presents. All right. And you need thread. I think I said that already. Thread, you need thread and a needle. All right, so this goes off to the side, but you want to lay it out and you want to make sure that your proportions are all right before you actually start to sew anything down. So the first thing you're going to sew down is this, and I did a very simple whip stitch. I just went around. You can do a buttonhole stitch, you can just do a straight stitch, and go. You do whatever you want. That is maker's choice. Okay, go around that. And I went up here. You can see I went up here because this is the prototype, and I didn't cut it as long. But when I was making it, I said, no, this needs to go under there. So I made it longer. So you'll just stitch here and here, the 3 sides. You can certainly stitch across there if you like that look, but you won't need to. Okay, so there you go. You got that. Then you put this down. So stitch this down. Okay, now it's stitched in the center. Everything's straight. You're happy. Now you're going to put this piece down. Okay, and I would suggest you put a few pins in this. Let's do that together. Okay, and I'm not going to make this whole entire piece on this video because it would take too long. I'm just going to give you the highlights. Okay, like that. And now you're going to get your thread, whatever thread you're going to use. And this happens to be embroidery floss, and it looks like it's 3 strands. But I did use, on this one, I did use pearl cotton size 5. I really like the way it looks. And you notice, if you haven't noticed, that I use different colors. And I'll change in the middle of a row because I want it to look Christmassy. Okay? So this is, like I said, it's only 3 strands, but I had it handy. So I'm going to pretend that this is stitch. Boy, that squeaky chair is going to drive me crazy. Brian's going to kill me when I tell him I don't want it in here. I had to have it. All right. Sidebar. So in order to start this, what you're going to do, we're going to put our Christmas balls and our presents on the side because we don't need them. And I also put a little heart in your package. And, oh, I don't know what happened to mine. I guess I never stitched it down. You can put your heart wherever you want. You can. The reason I put a heart in there is I always use a heart as a signature for my art pieces on anything I make. I always put a heart on it. And sometimes I just draw a little heart with a pencil, or sometimes I'll embroider a heart, or sometimes I'll use one of these. But if you don't want to use it, you don't have to. You can use it as an ornament on your tree too, or you can just put it down in the corner of your... See, I always do everything sideways. I don't like anything straight. You can put it up here. Like I said, you can put it on your tree, or you can just not use it at all. All right, so now you've got your first layer pinned down, and you've got a knot in the end of your thread. And what I like to do, I don't know that there's any right or wrong ways of doing this. Let me zoom you in. Okay, what I like to do is go through this on the edges just to keep it down. See what I did? I went right through it. But for some reason, I didn't do it on that side. I guess I felt like it was down enough. But I'm piercing. And I didn't do it all the time. I guess it just depends. Like this one, I did do it. It just depends if it needs it. If I feel like it needs it. And evidently, when I started, I felt like I needed it. So let's not do it and see what happens. So I'm just going to go above and below, and you're going to pull it so that it's, you know, firmly pulled, taut-ish. Okay, I hear Brian's little footsteps outside. He's been out shopping all day. So I'm going to wait and talk to him when I'm finished with you guys. So I don't try to space this any particular way. Well, you know, if you've been watching my videos for a while, I don't worry about everything being even and perfect. I just enjoy the process. So now I might want to just move this pin down a little bit just to get it out of my way. And this is all I'm going to do. I'm just going to kind of keep going over that. Now, you could do this another way. So I just go round and round. So you see how much thread I'm using up in the back? Oh, you can't see this because I put the back on. You could, if you want to be careful with your thread. So I just went down. I just went down right here, right? So I could just move over just a hair and come back up and go down here. What we're doing is couching. So if you know how to couch, that's what we're doing. So now I just went down right here where my thumb is. So I'm going to move over a hair. When I say a hair, I mean like 1/4 of an inch, 1/8 of an inch. I'm not measuring. Now I'll show you what it's going to look like in the back in a second. So like I said, I'm using a lot less thread doing it this way. Okay, see? That's what you're going to get in the back, those little tracks instead of this. So I'll leave that up to you. And you're just going to go all the way across, okay? Oops, I just lost my thread on my needle. All right, I'm going to stop there. So you're going to go all the way across. Just going to cut that off because I want to show you the next row. So now we've decided to do this one. So we're going to lay this down, and so I just took it from over here on the right, and you're going to lay it down, and you get your paper template. And you can see this could have been trimmed back a little bit. It should have been trimmed back a little bit. Now I'll just trim this. Okay, and trim this on both sides. I'll trim. And then I'm going to do the same exact thing. I'm going to stitch this down. So I'm going to just come up from the back, and I'm going to couch it. And you can catch the corner by piercing a little bit there if you want to, or you can do what I just did over here. Either one, whatever feels right to you. So, okay, you're just going to keep going like that. So once you get that one down, let's talk about one of these curved ones, okay? So, and you see, that's a natural, the way it lays. You're not going to be able to force that too much. So you just figure out what way it looks best, and it kind of sits best. So I'm going to go with this edge, and here's my paper template. So sorry about that. He's barking at his daddy. So I would trim this onto a slant, okay? Now, we've been doing straight. Just say you want it to turn. Now this one goes, here, let me go over here. See, this one should be cut back to there. So I could bend this over. I would really prefer it if it was a little longer, so I'm going to slide it over. Okay, just bend it over like that. Put a pin in it. The pin's going to kind of hold it in place for you because you're going to pick this up. You have to hold this in your hand. That's the thing. So pin this section, right? You've got it all to the right spot here on the right based on your paper template. And now you're going to just fold this over. And if you have a good eye, you could see how it's going to go up on an angle. So you can stick a pin right there. And you're going to start stitching, couching. You're going to couch over this, couch. And when you get down to here, you're going to just go around the edge. Couch it and just, keep your finger, push it down. Take your time. Don't be in a hurry. And just get it to lay down the way you want it to lay down and stitch it. So now you're ready to put your next piece on. Don't go all the way to the edge. And the reason I tell you don't go all the way to the edge is because you might want to pick this up and stick something under there. Now, if you do, and you've got a lot of girth on this, trim it. Trim it back. Trim some of the... All right, I'm just going to show you. See, trim some of the stuff off. Like, so I'm trimming it so that I'm trimming off like a layer of it. So it's almost like on if you can see that. It's almost like on an angle so that it fits on, and then you'll do the same to that one so that it fits under there nice. And you know, you might want to put this one on top. It just depends. So for me, it looks like this one looks better underneath. And if I would cut this, let's just cut it on an angle. See what I mean? See, I'm not going to cut this straight. I'm going to cut it like on an angle. I'm not going to cut it. But you get, oh, I just found the other pin. Okay, you get the idea. And when you get right there, just make sure that you stitch this so that it is connected. You could use a dot of glue too. I did not, but you could. I don't see why you couldn't use a little dot of glue to keep them together, and then give it a good stitch and just keep going. And you're just going to keep doing that all the way up. And like I said, if you don't want to, let's put a pin there. There's the pin that I just lost and found. Okay. If you don't want to fold it, like if you're going to do this with a child, just cut them. Just cut them and make them straight all the way up. It'll be so much easier. Just don't forget to keep checking your paper template to make sure that you're getting this angle, this point, okay? And you're going to go all the way up. Blop, 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 like that. And some of these are pretty thick. If that's not your, you know, jam, you don't like them thick, you can cut them. You can cut some of this girth off. Some of these sweaters were really thick. And I love, if they had little whatevers on them, I left it because I think they're so cool. You know me, I like the character. And this one has a I don't know, piece of bias tape on it. I thought it was pretty cool. So, you know, just go all the way up. And then, here, let's use some of these pieces. There's a lot of stuff over here. Okay, there's one. It's already cut on the end, see? And then this is your top. And if you don't like the top that I gave you, cut a piece, cut another piece and make a new top. And you're just going to stitch every piece on exactly the same. Okay, so now you've got all that stitched down. Now you can either put your presents on or you can put your star on. Doesn't matter which you do first. And I just very simply put French knots. If you have some beads, that would be super fun. I almost included beads in the kit. I should have. Maybe next time. You could put beads in there. You could put beads on your ornaments. That would be fun. Buttons, if you have any buttons. Oh, I should have done that. Anyway, coulda, shoulda, woulda. So put your star on, put your presents on, and then what I did with my little ornaments, they're very small. I decorated them first. So I put some French knots in this one, and then I just did that little embroidery thing. I did that first, and that first, and that first, and this little swirl first, and then I stitched it. What I did after I did that is I laid them down, because you're not going to want to put that blue one on top of there, right? You want to make it so you can see it. So then, and there's 5 of them, which always use an uneven amount of things to get the right look. And okay, oops, gotta go down there. Okay, and just put them wherever you think after you've embellished them, and then just do a little whip stitch to stitch them down. So this one here isn't stitched down on the edges. So what I did after I did the French knots is I kept that string and I went down into the wool to attach it. I don't want to pull it back too much, but I hope I was in shot. To attach it to the tree, and then I just went around the edge. I like the way that looks. And this one I just did a running stitch. That one I just did a whip stitch. You could do buttonhole stitch, do whatever, you know, whatever. You could do a little embroidery on there, be fun. And if you have other little tchotchkes, you can certainly put them on there, like if you had a charm or something, or anything you can possibly think of. And that's it. Okay, so that's that. Now, let's talk about how to finish the edges. So the black piece that I gave you in the kit, if you bought a kit, is a little, you know, funky shape. So you have to trim it back to whatever shape you can manage or that you want. And I gave you a whole fat quarter of this. So there's going to be a lot extra. You're going to lay it down, and I'm going to send you to the other video that I showed you specifically how to do this edging. But you're going to cut this 1.5 inches bigger, okay? Because then you fold it over and then fold it over again. Let me get a piece of cloth. I'll show you. This was the only piece of cloth I had handy. Has nothing to do with Christmas. Or maybe it looks like snowflakes. So you're going to lay this down. Iron that. Iron those seam marks out. And then, you know, you have 1.5 inches. Let's just say that's 1.5 inches. You're going to fold it over. Okay. And then you're going to fold it over. And I invisible stitched it down. And if you watch the other video where I did the edge, I time stamped it so you can go straight to the border and see how I did the border. I didn't fuss with the border because, let me zoom you out. I didn't fuss with the border because a lot of you aren't quilters, and I didn't want to make you crazy. If you want to do your border a different way, or you want to be particular about your corners, go for it. But basically, I folded it over, and then I folded this edge over. So I did this. Folded that over, and then folded this over. And you could cut away some of this bulk. That's what I did. See? And then I just stitched that down. Yep, and that was it. And call it macaroni. And then put your heart wherever you want, if you want to. If you don't want to, don't use it. That's fine. I would put mine right there. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you have any questions at all, never, ever, ever hesitate to send me an email. My email is at the bottom of the description box, and I hope you enjoyed it. And I love this little Christmas tree. It would make a nice house gift for someone if you were going to their house for, you know, for dinner or something. I'm sure they'd be tickled to death to have it. It's a very easy make. It's very quick. And yeah, like I said, I think, you know, I think a child who had a good grasp of stitching could do one of these straight, with the straight pieces going across. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. And if you're interested and you want to take my mini workshop, we'll go over things in more depth and go a little slowly. And there's time for questions and just, you know, for some camaraderie and community. And that would be awesome. December 14th. And you can find the link down below. And if not, you want to make it on your own and you have questions, you definitely can get in touch with me. I'm happy to help. And I will see you again very soon. I have plans for the new year. And yeah, I'm very grateful for you. So remember, keep moving. Just play, no rules, and remember to find something to be grateful for each and every day. I'm always grateful for you and so much more. So thanks for watching. Bye for now.